Hello there, and welcome to, and hello to you, and goodbye to Cassie. She's gonna go make me a sandwich because we forgot to lunch again. This happens a lot. But welcome to another episode of Flash Zellow Fiction Done Fast, the show where I take a bunch of writing prompts from my very creative, lovely friends. I haven't had a haircut since the pandemic started. I have shaved, but it's definitely overdue. The show where I take a bunch of writing prompts from my buds and I write a bunch of one-page short stories for your entertainment. So how y'all doing today? I'm doing alright. I'm hanging in there. One day at a time, right? One day at a time, 2 short stories at a time. But, do I even have? I have 1 viewer. Hello. Welcome to my stream. I give up. My accent work was never good. Shame. Alright. Well, we're here. We're hanging in there. I feel like I should lower the blinds just that little bit so... Oh. There we go. No, growing up, I had my computer... Nope. Growing up, I had my computer adjacent to the window. So, the window was kind of in the same spot this one is. Not that you can see it, but there was a wall right there, and I actually had the desk against that wall, so I could turn and look out the window. So it'd be like if I had the desk actually here and the window there, and I had such fond memories of it. I was like, I want to be as close to the window as I can be. And oh no. So Scarlet Fury is her chat is not connecting, so she is connecting in spirit. Well, fuck this chair. I had it, I swear, for like a week there. It was fine, and now not so much. Also, this screw fell off of it, and I'll fix it later. Honestly, I'd rather just... I was at Walmart staring longingly at their computer chairs, and if you're at Walmart staring longingly at anything, it's not a good time. Well, enough fiddle-faddle. Let us jump right into it. Oh, we've got 2 viewers now. Ooh. It's exciting times. So, let's do what we do and read through the prompts we have and go from there, shall we? So from Renegade Radio, we've got an exploration of class warfare and inequality that takes place night at the museum style in a big furniture outlet store between sentient pieces of furniture. No humans allowed. Think Snowpiercer, but in an RC Willy. Eggplant Furious and Catastrophe. We've got the tone prompt. We've got a president finds out he's fired via Twitter. Oh, wait. A deep and meaningful conversation between 2 people, but every single thing they say is a painfully cliched movie line, and you never want to hear again, such as, they want a war, we'll give them a war, or straight to business. I like that. And then also, a deeply disillusioned office drone prepares to shoot up his workplace, only to discover that all of his coworkers have had the exact same idea at the exact same time, including his boss. The butterfly effect. The butterfly effect. A dropped nickel leads to the arrest of a serial killer. So, and a job interview for a medieval executioner. Alright, so I was actually thinking about this before we started, not necessarily the story, but I want to try this butterfly effect because I wanted to do. I thought of an idea of how to connect it to the other two stories that I connected the other day. And yeah. So we're gonna give that a shot. Oh, I'm gonna have to make new formats soon. You know, if I really was on top of this, I would just make formats, structure formats, all the way to, I think... Oh man, I can't actually remember how many stories. It's probably going to be about 155 stories. So we're about 43% of the way toward what NaNoWriMo would consider novel length. So these one-page stories are averaging about 322 words. And NaNoWriMo, you know, the shortest a novel can be is 50,000 words. So 150 stories would be a novel, technically, or novel worth. And so if I was really on top of it, I would just make 150 of these and never have to worry about it again. Oh, this chair. One more time. We're going to try it. Oh, we got it. Happy days. Okay. I don't know what it is. I like to lean back as I type. So, like, I like having something I'm leaning back against. I feel like I have to keep checking Messenger just to see if... Okay. Just have my phone up, but on Do Not Disturb, so that if Scarlet Fury messages, I have it there. Okay. Arbiter. So, this story is a butterfly effect. A dropped nickel leads to the arrest of a serial killer. So, we'll break down the structure. Because I have the idea of how to connect it to the other story that I did the other day, the other two stories, but not the actual story. So we're going to start with a nickel is dropped. That's our introduction. And then down to catastrophe, a serial killer is arrested. Okay. And we got to fill in this middle part. So a nickel is dropped, but complication, the nickel is picked up by a serial killer. Ah, got it working. Hey, welcome! Welcome to the chat, Scarlet Fury. So therefore, catastrophe. I like the idea that the nickel is the protagonist of this story. The nickel... the food. Oh, we got a whole.
I just got your lunch.
Oh, it's a whole lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Stick them up.
Oh no.
You too.
Oh no. But I made your lunch.
I mean, that's fair. Stick them up or I'll fill you full of banana.
Oh no.
You know, what was a fun joke of my childhood, just... You can't escape the sexual overtones as an adult. Because it's shaped like a penis.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
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 I mean, kind of. I bit off more I can chew.
Oh no.
Okay. Hey, just out of curiosity. Hey, welcome back. Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, just out of curiosity, why are these always bullet pointed when you're writing? Just noticed it. LOL. Do you mean like this Shakespeare's? Who? Sorry, I didn't notice your comment. I had opened a tab so I could look at a diagram of a thing. I need two monitors. Is the thing. I need two monitors. Is what I have on screen? Is that what you're talking about? And I will let you form a response while I take a bite of this lovely sandwich. Sorry, I turned my microphone off so I could chew. Seemed polite. That's how I write. That's so what you're looking at is my story structure. That is how I write everything. So I talked about this pretty early on in the stream. Not necessarily recently. Oh fuck, how did I put it back then? So, I'm neurotic. We all know this. And you all love me anyway. When I start writing, one of the things I don't know how to describe this. I don't know why I'm having a hard time of it today, of all days. I need to know how long something's going to be. And so what I did is I went in on my first novel way back in 2015, the first novel I finished as an adult. I finished a novel back in high school. And it's pretty okay for a 16-year-old, but that's not what we're talking about. I knew I wanted to write a novel that was about 85,000 words. This would have been Rise of the Reaper. I don't know if you read that one. I know we workshopped it, but I don't know if you did. I think you did. Yeah, it was the one with Ian and Michael and Blake and Viola. So what I did was I tried to figure out what the average word count per page was for the format I was using. I don't remember what it was, but probably about 500 words. And then I went from there, and I said, okay, well, I want to write a story that's about, 85,000 words. The story itself ended up being 92,000 because the averages were off, which that happens. Because, and the reason I did all this was because, A, it's easier for me to kind of know that there's an endpoint in mind. Instead of just writing to discover, it's easier for me to say, okay, well, I have this much space to work with. I imagine this is how television writers feel, because you're like, I've got to turn in an episode that is approximately the same length as the episode last week and the week before and the week before. So, you can go through, 15 seasons of Supernatural, and every script is going to be about the same length, approximately. And that just appealed to the way my brain worked. And the other side of it was, because I like story structure, I was looking at Save the Cat, which is a screenwriting technique, and some other stuff. Sid Field's screenwriting book, where he breaks down plot into 3 acts, but it's Act 1 is 25% of the story, Act 3 is 25% of the story, and then the other 50% is the middle, but there's a midpoint. It's weird. I don't really like it. But it got me thinking. I decided to check and see some Shakespeare plays to see if those numbers held any bearing on Shakespeare. It was just kind of a flight of fancy. And what I noticed is, for the most part, actually, there is kind of a there was a bit of a standardization in the Shakespeare plays I was looking at. I don't remember which ones. I don't have the math anymore. This was, if I was using this story structure for Rise of the Reaper in 2015, it's been half a decade. But Shakespeare uses 5-act structure. And what I determined was Act 1 was 25%, Act 2 was 25%, Act 3 was 15, Act 4 was 10, and Act 5 was 25%. I decided to test, because I'm neurotic, but also I did think it was interesting. I wanted to see how far I could take this. So, what you're looking at is kind of the end result. This is approximately a page. This is 23 lines. So, using size 12 formatting, it's about how would I put this? It's about 13 words on average a line. So yeah, I basically said I wanted to do a page. A page is about this many words, which means that, if it's 22 lines, then, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines for, the introduction. And then you go, but complication, therefore crisis, but reversal, therefore catastrophe. Again, this is how I wrote novels. Where did I put it? That's how I wrote this whole thing. I knew I wanted to do 150,000 words. It turned out to be 153,000, which means that... Where did I put my... Oh, right. My phone is where I put it. I think it's like 260 words a page was approximately. So if it's 150,000, so you want your Act 1 to be 25% of that, a quarter of the story. So 37,500, which if you average pages per words, you get 144 pages. So I can go in and say, okay, well, and that's Act 1. I want to break that into smaller chunks. So, you've got 144 pages. You divide that by 4. So the first episode, you might say, of the book I wrote, which is what I called them, was 36 pages. And then you take that and you divide that by 4, and you get 9 pages. So chapter 1 is 9 pages long. I go in, well, it's technically 9.01 pages. I went in, so if it's 22 lines a page, 9.011, that's 198 lines. So, looking at this, whatever math I was doing, yeah, it's 24 lines. So, there you go. There it is. I finally really broke down and explained some of the craziness that goes on in my brain. And, I haven't even read the story yet, but, I don't have it open. But again, I'm neurotic. I know I am. What do you think? Oh shit, we're up to 5 viewers watching me talk about my weird neuroses. Fun. I don't talk about it a lot because I know how crazy it makes me sound, but it works. It works in that I finish things. So I also think this is part of what lends my stories that kind of breakneck pace that my novels have, because everything is kind of, it's always funneling into the next thing. Neat, it's cool framework, don't sell your short. I mean, I'm glad you say that, because as you can tell, I'm kind of self-conscious of it. Because again, it works. It helps me finish things, which was a bit of a problem before I started. But it takes an incredible amount of, prep time, but it allows me to kind of go in and say, all right, well, like the previous story. Introduction, a coin, drops. Cool. Coin drops. So I've got 6 lines to describe a coin dropping. And then down at the bottom of the page, I have about 6 lines to describe a killer getting captured. Cool. What happens in the middle? Well, there's a but complication, there's a crisis. So what's the crisis? Okay, well, the crisis is going to be, he's a serial killer. So, like, that's probably going to be your crisis, killing somebody. So when I'm writing, I like to think of it, I talked about this yesterday on the stream, but Michael Barr did a great video about how, in order to think outside the box, you have to have a box. And so on this show, I have plenty of boxes. I have the time limit, which I'm wildly going over right now, but whatever. I have the page limit. I have the structure on top of the page limit. And I have the box of, I can only write what prompts other people have given me. And, like, if I ever run out of prompts, I guess I get to figure that out when I come to it. So far, you guys have managed to get me through, where am I? You guys have managed to get me through 34 streams and 60, so this would be the 35th stream, and that was the 69th or 68th story, so, like, I don't really want to run out of prompts, so keep them coming. I appreciate that. I need it. But, it's all part of that framework of, like, okay, how do I tell this story in such a short amount of time? Because that's part of the challenge. Some of these prompts, especially the ones that Veramat has given me, are things that there's no real good way to tell them in one page. So you gotta, like, really think about, okay, how am I gonna do this? Yeah. So who wants me to read the story I just wrote? I mean, it doesn't matter what you guys... No, go away. It doesn't matter what you guys say. I'm going to do it anyway. So. But no, Shakespeare's, if you want to chat about it later, I can give a kind of more in-depth explanation of, what I'm talking about and stuff. So. Life was, insofar as the nickel was concerned, or could tell, fairly dull. This did not bother the nickel, although every once in a while, in a burst of impulsiveness, it would abandon its current carrier and see where the wind took it. Such was the nickel's mood today. So as the boy, Kevin, if the nickel had heard right, stood up from his booth at the diner, threw down a wad of cash and loose change as tip, and slipped past the waitress, muttering that he didn't want soup or salad and would get a burger down at McDonald's instead, the nickel saw its chance. It rolled off the table, clattering to the floor in the center of the walkway. But the boy was making his way out the door, and the waitress seemed in an awful fuss about something. The man who picked up the nickel, though, did not seem in a fuss. He knelt down, picked up the nickel between 2 fingers, and, satisfied by its date of printing, a good year if the nickel said so itself, slipped it into his jacket pocket. The next time the nickel saw the outside of that pocket, a man was about to die. Not the man who had picked the nickel up, no. He seemed intent to be the one doing the killing. He took the coin out, flipped it in the air. Call it, the man rasped. The nickel knew the second it landed, face down, the victim's fate. A smell like lightning filled the air, and the crack of thunder echoed around the alley. The victim collapsed in a heap, red staining his clothes. When the killer slipped the nickel back into his jacket pocket, the coin made a choice. The jacket was old and worn, almost threadbare, and a small hole had formed in the bottom of the pocket where the barrel pressed into the fabric. A hole small enough for a coin the size of a nickel to slip through, unnoticed. The coin landed on the ground and rolled to a stop beside the dead man's body, just barely out of the pool of blood. If the killer noticed, he didn't care. He didn't know what the coin knew. He'd left his fingerprint on the coin's face. So what do you guys think? Did you like it? Did you like it? Validate me. Alright. Take that. Put that over on the blog. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I wanted to do... Shit, what is... Where's the one I'm thinking of? Is it called Still Life with Woodpecker? By Tim Robbins? Yeah. Life with Woodpecker. It's a love story that takes place inside a pack of Camel cigarettes. I started it back in high school, and I never had time to finish it, but I really enjoy... I do have a soft spot for tongue-in-cheek murder stories. Well, I just didn't see any other way to tell this story other than from the Nichols point of view. Not in a page. Like, a longer story, maybe it would, have more... I don't know why, but I assumed Shakespeare that you would know Tom Robbins. Have you read that particular book? Here it is. Still Life with Woodpecker is the third novel by Tom Robbins concerning the love affair between an environmentalist princess and an outlaw. The novel encompasses a broad range of topics from aliens and redheads to consumerism, the buildings of bombs, romance, royalty, the moon, and a pack of Camel cigarettes. So, even if I've never finished the book or haven't read it in over 10 years, or read parts of it in 10 years, I feel like I may have gotten fairly close. So... Jitterbug Perfume. What's that one about? Okay, so, yep, got that over on the blog. We're good. Oh, Shakespeare's, actually, I don't think you were here the other day. I wrote your time traveler story. The history of the pair of immortal lovers, Pan and New Orleans, are heavily involved. Cool. What do you mean by pan? Like Peter Pan, or pansexual, or pan like Pan's Labyrinth? Or just a pan? The cooking utensil? The Pagan Fongon. Cool. Now I'm thinking about Pan's Labyrinth. I am not emotionally equipped to think about Pan's Labyrinth right now. Moving on. Pansexuality isn't a thing. That's made up. Like fairies and good Republicans. Boom, canceled. Yep. Okay, well, speaking of canceled, I'm gonna try this prompt from Verimat89. A deeply disillusioned office drone prepares to shoot up his workplace only to discover that all of his coworkers have had that exact same idea at the exact same time, including his boss. while I'm getting this set up, anybody in the chat wants to throw me some just standard, boring office names? Just people who work in offices. The names of people who work in offices. All right, that is a good list. Pam. The other Pam. Okay. All right. All right, here's another thing I need from the chat. What is the dumbest fucking thing that a company... Like, what do companies do? Office companies. What do they do? Like... Like... Sales acquisitions? I don't know. No, I mean, like, that's what the employees do, but I mean, like, what does the company do? Like, an office space, office space that just does, See, it's such a dumb concept, I can't even think of, like, an example. Shakespeare's, help me out here. You've got an eye for the mundane. I just want something that's just so, like, stupidly, like... Of course there'd be a fucking company for that. There's no need. Scanning and email services. Company that sells toothpicks. Joel. You bastard. Yes, converting paper documents to PDF files would be soul-crushing work, says the guy who used to work for the city. Outsourcing outsourced holdings. Insourcing outsourced? Outsourcing the insourced holdings. I do that a couple hours a day. Oh, man. Shakespeare's, didn't you used to do transcriptions for recordings? Somebody I know did that. That also sounds truly awful. Ooh. God kill me, yes. Hey, you could get back into the industry. Barack Obama just released a new book. I'm sure they need people to transcribe. Did anybody ever read that book, by the way? Either of them, honestly. I picked up Michelle's, but I never actually read it. Oh no, I know. I sent you one of them about the ethereal bisexual. Yeah, Barack's book was the big thing on lefty Twitter before it was, Peter Klein and Ready Player 2. And now that's the thing making the rounds on leftist Twitter. Or at least it was until he started issuing DMCA takedowns, which, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's right, ethereal bisexuals and long-legged socialists. Yup. Now that said, I would love to have met. Apparently, in college, I would have loved to have hung out with Barack Obama's circle. Potentially more than I would have had any interest in hanging out with him. hey there, everybody. We're back. We're back with another story. Okay, let me go through, delete those. This is definitely one of those stories that I feel like I could have spent a little more time. Like, I wouldn't have minded having a longer time to just kind of simmer with some of these ideas, but maybe one day, right? Let's dive right into it. Peter Johnson knew that the world had larger problems than working for Puffin Scanning and PDF Services Incorporated. But, by God, I just can't do it anymore, he thought, loading the rifle full of bullets. He was sure there was a better description, but hell if he knew it. He was an accountant, not some trophy hunter. And here he was, at this godforsaken company, converting paper documents to PDF files and transcribing audio recordings. What sane person wouldn't make terrible choices with a fully loaded weapon? Peter had wasted enough time hiding in the bathroom, psyching himself up. He kicked open the stall door and marched into the main room. "All right, everybody, listen to me," yelled someone, distinctly not Peter. "Kevin?" Peter asked as his cubicle neighbor raised a much nicer rifle. If Kevin was surprised that Peter had a gun, he didn't have time to show it, since Pam also had a gun. So did Bob and Bill and Tom and Larry and even the other Pam from marketing. "So, Peter said lamely, you all had, the same idea?" "That's really embarrassing." "All right, you parasites, break it up," roared their boss, Mr. Winslow, also brandishing a gun. That son of a bitch thought he could work them to the bone and then pull this shit? Peter and the entire staff, including the receptionist, Becky, Cindy, and Sandy, all aimed their weapons at Mr. Winslow's disingenuous tie. That was supposed to be disingenuous holiday tie, but fuck it. It's a disingenuous tie, splattering the man against the wall in pieces. As what was left of their boss slid down the wall, another person entered the office space. "Just what in the Sam Hill are you folks all doing in here?" asked Stan from HR. Peter looked around at his fellow workers and shrugged. "Seizing the means of production?" Stan's eyes bugged out. "Excuse me, Mr. Johnson." "Wait, no. Excuse me, Johnson. You will not degrade this fine capitalistic establishment with your filthy leftist rhetoric. My office, now." "Aw, man," Peter said as he shuffled past his coworkers. He hated this job. Okay, you guys gotta tell me what you thought of that. Oh, man. Now you got me choking. Oh, fuck. Oh, Cassie, I hear your boy.
My boy.
Your boy.
He cry?
He cry.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I must go to him.
You must go to your boy.
I must go.
Office Space W. I'm assuming that's leading to an Office Space with. That was definitely, I'll say, that was possibly the most fun I've had reading one of these in quite a while. That made me laugh pretty hard. Office Space by way of Palahniuk. Yes! Fight Club Office... Fight Space? Office Club. Whatever. Oh, man. That was good. I really enjoyed that. I don't get to write about, like, my fucking leftist opinions very much in these stories. But, like, where else could this have gone? Right? Okay. Also, gotta shout it out at least one. Wait. we just finished our 69th story. Oh, no, it's crashing. 69, dudes! I have no regrets. Also, entirely separate from this, I've been trying to be so, like, dainty while eating this sandwich because Scarlet Fury remembers how I used to eat in public as a teenager. And I'm not that guy anymore. But I'm still really self-conscious of it. So, alright. We wrote 2 stories today. I actually really liked how both of them turned out. Both of them were weirdly kind of black comedy, dark comedy. I think we're going to wrap things up there. And what's today? Monday, I think? So yeah. I won't be back until Friday, as is the regular schedule, and my bird will be even longer by then. I don't know, should I shave? Or trim, at least? I don't know. Alrighty then. Well, what does that mean? Scarlet Fury, what is that thing you just posted? I don't know what that means. Grave before shave. You don't count. Your beard is like... Oh no, actually I haven't seen you in a really long time. Have you trimmed at all in the like years since I've seen you? Because if you haven't, you've got to be approaching ZZ Top lengths. And that concerns me. Laughing? Laughing. Ba-dum-ba-bum. Oh God. How long is it? Do you have a tape measure or a ruler? Where does it go down to? That's since quarantine, baby. They were laughing faces. They were laughing faces. They were laughing faces. They were laughing faces. Sorry. Old theater thing. Will you wait for Willie and Winnie? Willie and Winnie. Will you wait for Willie and Winnie? Will you wait for Willie and Winnie? Anyways. On a button down, the third button and a half. I don't know what that means. Get out of here, you with your fancy button down. Yeah, go on back to Boston. Oh my God. So, like, nipple length? Scarlet Fury gets it. Alright. So, while he's figuring that out, I picked up some of these, like, hooks that... Because every time I wear a mask and I look down, my glasses fall, and they're already kind of scratched from it. I just got them, I tried them on. My ears hurt. They're a little... unforgiving. Just about, yeah. Yeah. Alright. Well, now that we have unraveled the mystery of Shakespeare's button and a half down nipple length, I think we're going to call it. I think we're going to end things there. That's the note we're going to end on. Talking about Shakespeare's nipples. Just the way God intended. Alright, so I will catch you guys on Friday. And I'm Shakespeare, you better be there so we can pick up where we left off about your nipples. So that's all I have to say about Shakespeare's nipples. That's all I have to write about Shakespeare's nipples. Remember, no heroes in 2020, except for Shakespeare's nipples. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye!